you already know, members of the committee, my name is Mildred Nichols. I represent the Providence Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Incorporated. Delta is a public service organization founded exactly 101 years ago as women were making the final long push to get the right to vote, and African Americans were fighting and struggling to secure, in fact, the rights, privileges, and obligations of citizenship guaranteed by the Constitution, but often denied in practice. All of us who are here today are here because the right to vote, under what terms and conditions, and the management and administration of the election process are issues here in Rhode Island and in the nation. Delta supports Senator Goldin's bill, S2641, which calls for the immediate repeal of the voter ID language in Section 171924.2. As we stated in our 2013 testimony, the current law, we feel, is based on rather scanty evidence, a lot of opinions and feelings and beliefs, and we strongly think that any law that affects all citizens should not be based on anecdotal evidence, but on facts, because people's lives are seriously impacted. As an elderly citizen, I also look at voting in terms of the long struggle that people all over the world have had to try to get the right to vote. And there's always been this issue: is voting a right? Is it a privilege? And we feel that it is in fact a right and not a privilege that can be bestowed by some authority, whether it's a king or a legislature or what. We recognize that there have to be rules, but certainly the fundamental belief is that it is indeed a right that has to be guarded very seriously and very carefully. And one of the other persons who testified has already spoken about the struggle to get the right to vote in Rhode Island. And we all know the history, starting with property owners who were male and Caucasian, and gradually working their way up to try to include most people. But it's, and I personally see voter ID as part of that trajectory. It's less of a barrier than having to own property, but having a photo ID can indeed be a barrier for some people, even if it just means having to pick up a piece of paper or an ID or something as you rush out the door to go vote. I think it fundamentally, it puts people on one side privilege, another side right, and we come down on the side of having a right to vote. And so we strongly and respectfully ask you to consider very seriously of voting Senator Goldin's bill out of committee and vigorously supporting it on the floor of the Senate. Now, as soon as I saw Senator Metz's bill that he was so kind to introduce on the Secretary of State's behalf, I thought, aha, I see that there is this effort to try to mitigate what some people have felt is an imposition on people. But Senator Metz, though I like a lot of the things you do, I have, you know, from my years of talking to you on this, that I think that the only way to go is to repeal voter ID in Rhode Island. And I personally do not consider it a compliment when certain groups say that the Rhode Island bill is a model for other states to follow. It is not. It certainly is not a good model. Therefore, I also respectfully request that you not support Senator Met's bill. I thank you for this opportunity.